Trevent, KySports.TV here with Hart County Raider head coach Griffin. Coach, this is our first show that we've done since our break from COVID. A lot of people have been requesting it, but we finally got a chance to come back and do it. First of all, we want to thank you for being our guest today, and for all the viewers. We're going to actually do this every week.
That'd be fine.
We're going to do the Hart County Raider football show. We're going to get with the coach at Caverna, maybe some of the other coaches in the area to see if they'd be interested in doing it. This show is being brought to you and sponsored by Tea Time Grill here. And we're also going to start doing a Hart County Player of the Week. Each week, Coach will give me his Player of the Week, and those guys can come in and get a free meal the week of their accomplishments. First of all, congratulations on your win Friday night. Usually opening week is Caverna and Hart County. I know there was a couple of years we didn't play, and you know everybody was anticipating the game for this year, but Caverna was hit with COVID, and you know the numbers at Caverna has been low for several years, so they didn't have enough to field the game.
Right.
So you guys came in and picked up another team. Tell us about your week last week, Coach.
So I mean, everybody wanted to see us Caverna, you know that, and like you said, it's a numbers game right now, and it's just who can survive week to week. And Caverna just got hit last week, and it's the way of the world right now. But so what happened was, you know, Coach Lasley texted me probably at 2:45 on Thursday, like, Coach, I hate to do this, man, but we're done. And so I get that, and so I put on a listserv, you know, anybody willing to play. Well, about 8 o'clock on Thursday, I get a phone call from a coach from North Oldham. He said, "Hey, Coach, we've been shut down. Carroll County got shut down. So, hey, are you want to do this?" And I said, "Man, it's a long ride for you guys because I really needed to be a home game." He said, "Look, we were going anyway. Have your principal call my principal, see if we can work it out." And within an hour, we had a game. And so here comes North Oldham, who we don't know anything about. And, you know, as a football coach, you know, we were just talking about it. Preparation is everything. Everything you do is about who you're playing that week. And so I was really worried about how my kids would respond to this, especially being as young as we are, having a new team within less than 24 hours we got playing. You know?
So you guys came out. Let me adjust this camera just a little bit. There we go. Now we got both of us in there good. Now you guys came out. You didn't have any time to prepare. You prepared for Caverna all week. So you came out and played North Oldham.
Yep. And
you came out on top. Give us some of the highlights of that game, Coach.
Well, I tell you, the highlight for me was how our kids responded, and I've said this time and time again, and I think every coach will agree with me, is this whole COVID stuff, how we're dealing with it. That's you worry about how your kids will respond, but the thing that never seems to fail is how resilient these young kids are. With everything that they're going through across our county, Caverna, Alaska, everybody, the kids still come out on top, man, and they still. But long story short, we met after school at 3:15. We did a 45-minute walkthrough. Hey, we showed them some stuff they were going to do, and we just said, "Hey guys, go play football," because really, there's nothing else we can tell you to do. So they did, and what I was more proud of when we walked away from that game was, one, we had every chance to lay down because we struggled offensively, but how well our defense played against a very good. North Oldham is a big physical football team. When they got there, I was like, "Oh, we bit off something that's gonna," and they did. They hit us in the mouth, and our kids did never. They played hard. So.
All right, well, guys, I'm sorry with the background noise. We got a few golfers in here at the restaurant, and they've been out playing. It's hot, and now they're enjoying their fellowship time. Coach, I'm not going to keep you long today. I know you have to get back to work. And you guys watching, I cannot do a show without, you know, at least mentioning my team. We're going to go through our picks real quick for the week. Our Caverna Middle School team, we played Adair County last week, won 44-0. We've got a big game today. We play Russellville today. Traditionally, Russellville is very fast. They're a good team. But since I'm doing the picking and it's my show, I'm gonna go ahead and pick us to beat Russellville today.
I'm going with you, Coach.
For those of you watching, we have a set of twins. We've actually got about 21 kids in uniform this year, which is huge for us. You know, the numbers have been anywhere from 13 to 17. So we're excited about what's going on at Caverna Middle School football as well. So we're going to start these picks. First game is Adair County versus Barron. Barron lost to a really good Metcalfe County team last week. And I really just don't think that Barron can compete with Adair. I think Adair is a pretty strong team this year.
I'm going with Adair County.
Adair County.
Yep.
All right. Well, we both picked Adair. Then we've got John Harden versus Bardstown. I watched John Harden play LaRue County last week. They really just came out and hit LaRue in the mouth. I know LaRue may have had some players that weren't playing due to COVID. You know, they had some kids in quarantine. But John Harden's offense looked really explosive to me. I've not really seen much about Bardstown, but traditionally they're a good football program.
I tell you what, I did know this game, and I was really surprised that Bardstown only beat Franklin Simpson by 14. We scrimmaged Franklin Simpson, we tied 1-1 in 40 plays. So I do know this: if you're going to beat John Harden, you better throw the football. Bardstown Bethlehem brings back their quarterback from last year, who was supposed to graduate, but just Senate Bill 128. He's back.
This is just regular Bardstown.
Yeah, he's back. The
quarterback.
Back.
Okay.
Yes, he threw for 3,100 yards last year. Supposed to go on and play at at Wesleyan, and he decided to take advantage of Senate Bill 128. I'm going to pick Bardstown this one.
Well, Coach picked Bardstown, and I'm going to pick John Harden because I've read a lot about the Bowley kid from LaRue County. Do not, take this the wrong way. He's a very talented kid, but I think they picked him off about 4 or 5 times last Friday night over at the Don Franklin Bowl in Glasgow. So I'm going to go with John Harden on this game. The next game is Metcalf and Bellevue. I'm going to go with Metcalf. Metcalf. I think this is going to be one of the better Metcalf County teams that they've had since Harbison, the coach, was playing.
I tell you, they don't have a lot of kids. They got 25 kids on the roster. But hey, them dudes get after it, man. And they resemble LJ a lot. They're physical kids, and I wasn't around here when he played, but from what I hear talking, and just by knowing him personally, he's a hard-nosed guy.
He's one of the better players that I've watched play in this area in a long time. We got Louisville Butler and Central Hardin.
Okay. I tell you what, I got to watch Butler on film because North Oldham scrimmaged them, and they're not Butler of old, but I believe their speed's gonna. I'm going with Central Hardin.
Well, I'm going to go with Butler. I'm not familiar with either, but I'm going to go. I'm just going to go against you on that. Then you got Bethlehem and Louisville Eastern.
Bethlehem.
I think Bethlehem wins that game pretty big.
I think they win by 3 touchdowns.
I think Bethlehem is top 5 in Class A preseason, so I'm sure they stay there for after week 1. Then you got Taylor and LaRue.
Taylor.
I'm going to go with Taylor County on that as well. Then you got Bowling Green and McCracken County.
Going McCracken.
You're going with McCracken.
I am.
I watched Bowling Green last week, and the whole game I kept saying, this is not Bowling Green.
It didn't look like it.
But at the same time, Highlands is very good.
Highlands is very good. A lot of people were down on Highlands because of the scrimmage against Male, but what people don't realize is Male's real. Male's probably the best team in the state of Kentucky. Over Trinity, St. Egg, Cubcat, Male's real. So this is a good game. I'm going with McCracken, but it won't surprise me if Bowling Green wins. But I'm going with the 6A school there.
I'm gonna go with Bowling Green. E-Town and Meade County.
I think E-Town by 3 touchdowns.
I think E-Town is a winner in that game. Glasgow and Russellville. I think this is where we're going to have our first big disagreement. Glasgow and Russellville. I watched Glasgow play Woodford County last week. First of all, if you've not watched Woodford County play, that's a treat to go watch them play. I talked to a few of the parents at Glasgow and asked them, why did you guys schedule Woodford County for your opener in your bowl game? And they were very confident that they were going to win. And, I don't like to be controversial with parents, especially, with me being a coach, because I always want to feel like my team can win.
Absolutely.
But when Woodford County pulled up in 2 buses, and they came out in pregame with 76 players, and Coach Johnson got on his whistle and got his kids erupting before the game started, I knew Glasgow was in trouble. Glasgow was without Jay Long and another starter, but I don't think that Jay Long could have made up 56 points.
No,
I know that he could have changed the complexity of the game, but Woodford County had Glasgow's offense really confused. They were throwing some defensive looks at them, and I don't think that Glasgow can beat Russellville. I really don't. And I do know that Russellville had 11 kids to come back to take advantage of that extra year.
Yes. I'm going to say this, Coach. We talked about this beforehand, and he's right. We're going to disagree on this one. I still like to think that Glasgow is I picked them to be top 3 in 3A. I did. I just feel that we got to play them. It's not too far down the road, but I think they got Russellville. But, hey, look, I'm not selling Russellville short on this because I know that the kids that came back can play. They got some athletes there. And if they can't defend the pass, Glasgow can't defend the pass, it will be a long night for Russellville.
Well, now Glasgow can defend the pass. I think it's John Michael Carter.
Yep, John Michael Carter,
Now, he's one of the better safeties that I've seen play.
Yep.
And I'm not, Glasgow fans, I'm not discounting your team at all, but I think with what Russellville had last year, with another year to come back and put it on the field.
I agree.
You know, Russellville is going to be faster than Glasgow.
They probably will, but I'm still going with Glasgow.
You're going with Glasgow. I'm going with Russellville.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Russellville.
This next game, you guys interesting for me too, man.
Fort Knox and Sayre. Fort Knox didn't play last year.
No, Sayre is going to win. Okay, they're real. Sayre Pennington did a heck of a job with them. But one of my best friends is the head coach of Fort Knox. And what people don't realize is he had probably, I think, one of the top athletes in the state of Kentucky on his football team up until last Thursday. And they got audited, and that kid had to leave Fort Knox. So that went from taking West and Fort Knox down. You know, when you lose a kid like that in 1A football, it makes a difference. And this kid he's probably a 10-9 to 11 flat 100-meter kid. He was on a state champ. I mean, he can flat out run. And I watched him at a scrimmage against LaRue County. Hey, look, he probably ran for 5 touchdowns against LaRue County. But he's not with them. And I hate it for West, but Sayre's real.
Well, I'm going to go with Sayre as well. Now we've got my alma mater. Caverna is going to Trimble County. That game is actually going to be played on Saturday. Okay. Coach at Trimble County, we actually were teammates in college.
Okay.
And he sent me a message and last week and wanted me to get with the coach and said that there was some officials shortages in that area, so they're gonna play that game on Saturday. You know, every year that I do the picks, I always give Caverna the first nod. I know Trimble County is you know, they're going to be a disciplined team, and a lot of times discipline outweighs athleticism.
I do agree with you, Coach.
And I just don't know if our Caverna team is going to be disciplined enough to go up there and win. You know, it's on a Saturday. They haven't played a game yet.
And Caverna's going to Trimble?
And Caverna's going to Trimble.
I'd like to take Caverna, but I think I go with you on this one. I know the coach at Trimble as well as you do. And they may not always be the best team. They're going to play hard, and they're going to play discipline. I'm going with Trimble on this one.
I can't go against Caverna. I gotta pick the Colonels. I gotta pick the Colonels in that game. Trigg County and Warren Central.
Oh, you know what? Hey, go ahead and mark it down. Warren Central going to get their first win. I don't know how long.
Warren Central. We're going to go with
coaching staff.
Kenny Davidson. If you watch this, I think Kenny's back at Kenny may be back at South Warren. I don't know, but I know they were on me about not picking Warren Central for a couple of years. But we're both going to pick Central Hardin. Ohio County and Warren East.
Warren East. Warren East took one on chin last week, but they'll respond. They had some kids out that really would have made a difference. They'll beat Ohio County, I feel.
And our last game that we're going to pick is Hart County and McCreary Central.
Well, let me tell you about this game, okay?
All right.
People want to look at McCreary Central and say, oh, they're 2 years from they were removed from a district. And I think actually the coach before I got here at Caverna used to coach them, if I'm not mistaken.
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas, yes. He got down there and he got the thing going the right way. And I will say this. They're a good football team. They're better than what people look at in what they're using here in McCreary Central. I'm going to say this. If they're not a top team in the basketball this year, there's something wrong because they probably got 5 kids that go 6'4" to 6'6". They played a tough Fleming County team last week who brought back a lot, and Fleming exposed them in some areas. I love our football team. I like what we can do with our speed, you know, with Jordan Bradley and Clark Rakes Road. And the sad part for us is we are out with Dustin Butler this week. He got hurt. But I think we're going to be okay this week, Coach.
Think you'll be okay?
I think we'll be okay this week.
Well, I'm not gonna pick against you. I'm gonna pick with you until you lose. And once you lose, then I have to start going against you, Coach.
Hey, I will say this. You know, we talked, and you know, you asked me to speak a little bit. McCreary Central is a good football team, and this is good for us, hey, to play a good North Oldham team who they may not get a lot of wins this year just because, hey, look, they're going to Greater Crossing this week, and Greater Crossing's got a kid committed to Tennessee, kid committed to Ohio State, so they'll probably but North Oldham will play a bunch of quality football teams, and they're going to win some games. But Cray Central's the same way. They're much more improved than they have been in the past, and you could see the coach there, Pevitt, I think his name is Coach Pevitt. He's doing a good job getting them going in the right direction. They're in and out of some things. They're big, which kind of worries me some, just because we're not up front. We're not big at all on the defensive line. We go Alex Ford at nose tackle. I think he weighs 220, and then J.D. Crump at one defensive end, and Lucas Bell at another. They're probably 185, 190 pounds. But my linebacking core is superb too. I like to say that. We're sophomores. Jackson Shoulders is a sophomore. He's in there at 220. A.D. Milby's a sophomore at 220 pounds. Hayden Cronister's a sophomore. He probably goes close to 195, 200 pounds. And then Chandler Hudgens is the other one. Our front seven won the football game for us this past Friday, and they're going to win the football game for us this Friday too, on defense. And I got to give a shout out to Jackson Shoulders. You asked me about he played a heck of a game last week. We had a lot of kids that stood up, but Jordan Bradley, Jordan has been. Most of you may not know this, you might, but he's been battling a hamstring injury for about 5 months now. So he pulled in track, and it's just been a nagging thing, man. And to see him come out Friday and just pretty much turn the game around for us, if that makes sense. Clark caught a long pass to put us ahead 7-3, but Jordan caught a pass. He caught we call it an arrow. Caught a little shoot pass for 3 yards. I mean, the kid he made a kid miss, and that kid's still over there spinning. Okay, I'm telling you. And he went 65 yards, and when Jordan breaks free, nobody's gonna catch him. But then he came back and caught another touchdown pass. So I mean, just to see him as a sophomore come out and get healthy, it makes me excited about what's coming for Hart County football.
Well, Coach, I told, and if you ask Jordan and his dad, I told Jordan when he was in the 7th grade that he had the chance to be the best football player to ever come from Hart County.
So I was there. You don't remember, but I was there. You interview him after a football game. I was there.
And for those of you that don't know Jordan Bradley, I promise you, the kid is different. He's a good basketball player. But Coach and I were just talking. A lot of parents want their kids to be basketball players. But a lot of these basketball players are really football players. And I think Jordan understood that after his 8th grade year. He still plays basketball, and Jordan does something, Jordan and Clark, and I think a few more of your players. I tell our kids at Caverna, every good football player runs track.
Absolutely.
I don't care where you're at, what school you go to. Every coach should you should really make your kids run track because they go together.
Especially in a small school. When you're at a big school like a North and a Central, and you can get by maybe, okay? But let's go back to Greene County when Coach G had Greene County back in the day. Guess what all his kids did?
They ran track.
They ran track. And guess what their track program was? They were great. And they're still good, but that's kind of faded. That was one thing, Said took our track team this year, and we competed. Now, we had some injuries with Jordan pulling his hamstring and Devin Roden in track, but our 4x100 at one time over at Greene County beat Fort Knox, who won the state championship. So that is important because I'm going to be truthful. I'll give a spring ball for my kids to run track and for my linemen to wrestle. To me, that goes hand in hand. And sometimes as high school coaches, we get caught up in, hey, I need you in the weight room, which is important. But playing other sports is important too because it teaches kids. It makes kids faster. Basketball helps kids in ways that football doesn't help kids, as far as how they slide defenses, and so it's all goes in one. But yes, you're right. Track is very important.
Coach, 2 more things before we go. They wanted us to pick the North and DeSales game. North Hardin and DeSales.
I'm going North Hardin.
North Hardin played a really good South Warren team last week.
Hey, I'm on. I still get to watch some huddle from Central and Central scrimmage South Warren, and when I saw how they played defense, I thought, man, North's in trouble. But they're real. But South Warren will contend for 5A state championship. So. And
Chauncey Brazil just messaged that Devin Roger from John Harton runs track as well.
Yes.
Now, I don't know who Devin Roger is, but I do know, and I didn't know the kids by name, but number 4 for North Harton, who's John Harton, who's the quarterback I just told you.
Yep.
He pretty much did what he wanted to against LaRue, but he also had some big interceptions, and I think he had 1 or 2 pick sixes during that game. So we'll give Mr. Roger a shout out. And our fantasy football draft is Saturday, Coach.
Okay.
And I am a founding member of our fantasy league. We have a great league. I have won the league. If you had a sleeper in the NFL this year, for anybody that's into fantasy football, one player that's a sleeper that you more than likely would never pick up, maybe in the, I'm probably one of the only idiots that picks up a quarterback in the first or second round. But who would be one player that you would definitely want on your team that most people wouldn't want?
You would have to ask me, Coach. I don't know.
I'm going to give you mine.
Okay, let me hear it.
And everybody, I got one of my fantasy members are watching. Jameis Winston is a player that everybody better put on your team this year. A lot of people don't realize that Jameis Winston is one of only 8 quarterbacks to pass for 5,000 yards in one season.
Yes. Hey, you say something about picking a quarterback first or second. I know that they're normally there in the late rounds, but here's the thing.
I pick mine first.
I do too. And if you pick the right guy, man, he's going to carry you through the season.
Guess who I've been picking?
Who's that?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Because he's going to get you both deep running, throwing. Every week he's going to be consistent because you just can't stop the guy. I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence, Coach.
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Coach, Trevor Lawrence got beat up pretty bad.
He did. But hey, listen, this is what I do know. I am a Clemson fan. I'm a Nebraska fan, but I think Dabo Swinney is one of the truest guys out there. Okay. And if he tells me that Trevor Lawrence is going to be that guy, I think Trevor Lawrence will have a great year. I do. He got beat up the other night. I watched it, but I think he'll be okay.
I can't. We have monetary gifts in our league.
We do.
And I just can't afford to pick up a rookie.
I understand.
But I'm gonna tell you somebody else.
You need to pick Lamar Jackson. I didn't say I pick Lamar over Trevor.
I didn't pick him as a rookie.
Okay.
I didn't pick him as a rookie. I took him in the first round last year. But I'll tell you somebody else that people better look to, because I think he's finally on a team that needs him, that appreciates him, and they've got a crew of receivers that can catch passes. Teddy Bridgewater is a sleeper. I know. Don't sleep on Teddy Bridgewater.
I agree. No, I agree with you. Hey, listen, he, I was kind of disappointed in Minnesota because he came in there and played well, and they just didn't let him keep the job. That's good pickup right there, Jay.
And now the general manager at New Orleans, he had to make a choice to let Teddy go, to go get Jameis Winston. And then he had to make a choice between Hill and Jameis Winston. And me, as a football player and a football mind, there's no questions who the quarterback should be. Hill is a good utility player. He's a great utility player. But I think they invested too much time and money in him. And I think that by them going ahead and giving Jameis Winston the starting spot, I think that it doesn't make him a contender. I don't think that they can contend for their division. But I think they win ball games with Jameis Winston as quarterback.
I agree with you, and they got a tradition there too, and they're going to find a way to do it. But with the Hill thing, when they started playing him on special teams and everything else, I knew it wasn't going to. You know what I mean? You're not going to. It sounded great. Don't get me wrong, but one thing's held true. Lamar Jackson's about the only quarterback can do what he can do. Okay, in that league, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I know you can go back to Randall Cunningham and some things like that, but for the most part, to run and do the things he does, it takes a heck of a guy to do it, okay? Not many guys are going to be able to do it, but a quarterback normally is the guy from day one. And when they started putting Sean Hill at special teams and using him here and there, I felt like that wasn't their future, if that makes sense. So, But, hey, you had said something about picking a player of the week.
Who are you going to pick, Coach?
I'm going to tell you why I'm going to pick him. And he led us defensively, and that's Jackson's shoulders. But if anybody watched the football game Friday night or listened to it, that's all you heard. He ended up with 14 tackles. He had 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
14 tackles.
2 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
2 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
Yes, and now he's playing a position where he should make a lot of tackles. Don't get me wrong, but he really showed out Friday night, and I expect big things from him again this Friday night. So.
Well, Coach, I know the shoulders fellas are big fellas.
They're big guys. Yes.
So tell Jackson that he's got a free meal here at the restaurant.
Okay.
Tell him he's got one entree. He can't.
He don't want to bring his daddy and all of that. Come on.
No, he can't bring all the shoulders. That's a whole truck.
That's a crew now. That is just right. Yep.
Well, again, Coach has to go to work, and I have to go get prepared to play Russellville today. Got some things that we've got to do before we go. If any of y'all watch it and you want to come and see some good middle school football, come out to Caverna tonight at 6 o'clock. Not guaranteeing that we'll win, but I am guaranteeing that we'll play hard and we play discipline, and the kids will impress you with their mannerism and how they play on the field. But Coach, thank you again, and we'll look forward to doing this again next week.
I appreciate it. I do. Hey, I want to say this too. There's a lot of talk about Caverna Middle School right now, and I think he's right. If you go watch it, you won't be disappointed.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, again, Coach, good luck to you tomorrow night, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.